And now we'll set up the game over and victory conditions in our game. And we'll start that by creating the two canvases for the game over and you win screen. So I'm going to create a new UI within my base UI, and I'm going to call this one the game over canvas, and I'm going to duplicate it. Actually, before duplicating, I'm going to add a canvas group to this game object, because we'll be controlling the alpha of the objects to be shown, and canvas group helps me with that. So I create the game over canvas, and I'm going to create the victory canvas, and they both have canvases groups. So let's start with the game over one. I will start with an image, and this image is going to cover the full screen. I'm gonna set it to black, and then I'm also gonna add a text mesh pro, which I need to import a text mesh pro text to this game over canvas. I can close this down, and this will be centered both horizontally and vertically. And I'm gonna write game over, press any button to restart. And let's also set this canvas to cover, set this text to cover the whole canvas. There you go. Let's just give nice names to these game objects. This is the game over image, this is the game over text. I'm actually going to copy these two and paste them into my victory canvas. For now, I'm going to set the alpha of my game over canvas to 0, which means that now I'm looking at my victory canvas. I'm going to set it to you win, press any button to restart. They're very similar. You can, of course, adjust them to whatever you want. Set both canvas groups alpha to 0 so I can see my game. And now I'm going to create the logic to show these in different situations. And I'm going to start by, first of all, setting up the logic to show, to fade in these canvases when I die or when I win. And I'm going to do that by going to my UI controller script. There it is. And I'm going to create two variables here, two canvas group variables, one for my game over group and one for my victory group. Okay. And I also have a couple of Boolean flags here. Show game over, show victory, and I'm going to start them both as false. Okay. And now let me think here. I will need my update function, because I'm going to check if I'm showing game over, I will start to increase the alpha of my game over group. So I need to check if my game over group dot alpha is less than 1. I will increase it by time delta time. Otherwise, that means that I have finished showing my game over. I'm going to flag it back to false. And I'm going to do the same thing for the victory flag. If victory group alpha less than 1, victory group alpha plus equal time delta time else show victory equals false. Okay, and I'm going to set these flags via events. So I'm going to create a couple of public functions here. One show game over, that will set show game over to true and show victory, and that will show victory to true. Okay, let's save this, get back to Unity, and now we can start thinking on how we are going to call show game over and show victory on each of the events on our game. Let's start with when the enemy attacks us. So for that, I'm going to go back to my enemy navigation script, and I'm going to create actually a serialized field, private Unity event on attack. So, and if I scroll all the way down to attack target where I have this debug log, I am going to have my on attack invoke here. Save my enemy navigation, back to Unity, and let's select our enemy here once the script finishes reloading. So there's on attack. I'm gonna come here and get my UI controller, and I'm gonna call show game over. Let's see if that works. For now, I'm gonna run the game. And there's the enemy. I'm gonna get it to its field of view, have it attack me, and the variable game over group. Okay, forgot to set the variable on our canvas. There you go, game over group. There's the game over canvas, and the victory group gets the victory canvas. Fantastic. Now it should work. Where is it? There it is. Did you miss me? Ah, there you are. So game over, press set button to restart. That's not working yet. I'm actually, in the background, if I go to my player, I can still, oh no, I can no longer control it because, oh, of course I can control it because I haven't done anything yet in that aspect, and that's what we're going to work on now. So let's start my game. So in order to disable input when the enemy attacks me, what I can do is I can, where's my enemy? Here it is. I can also on attack call my player, and on the player controller just set enable input to false, and that should work. Let's see. Where is the enemy? Let's go after it. There it is. It missed me again. What is going on here? Why is it not attacking me? There. Okay, and the input stopped working. As you can see here in the scene view, I'm no longer able to control my character. Now, let's do the logic for restarting the level when we press any button. To do that, I'm going to create a new script. Just gonna call level controller, and let's wait for it to load. Level controller, and here we'll have a boolean that allows me to enable the reload scene, and I'm going to create a public facing attributes for these variables, so I can set them up via events. So get set enablers equals value. Okay. And on start, we're just going to enable reload scene to false. And on update, I'm going to check if I am able to reload the scene. Actually, the opposite. If we're not able to reload the scene, just return. And if I press any key down, I'm just going to go scene manager load scene number 0, the first one on my list, which I need to populate. Okay, so this is what we need on this level controller. And on my UI controller, I'm going to create a Unity event. Actually, yeah, on my UI controller, yeah, that's right. I'm going to create another Unity event called enable scene reload. And over here on update, I'm going to check if game over group alpha equals 1 or victory group alpha equals 1, meaning if I'm showing any one of these, then I'm going to call enable scene reload, invoke, and I'm going to allow the player to press the button. So to press any button to load the scene. So now let's get back to my UI controller. Actually, I need to create, I'm going to create an empty game object called level controller, set it to 000, add the level controller script to it, and then back to my canvas, enable scene reload, and I'm going to get my level controller, enable reload scene to true. And then on my build settings, I'm going to add my sample scene to it so I can reload it. I press play, and let's get hit by our enemy, and that's game over. If I press a button, the scene is reloaded, but why is it reloaded with this camera? Is the player back to the original? The player's back to the original position, and it's working. It's just didn't switch the camera. Let's try it again. See if it continues to happen. There you go, game over. Okay, so this is very, very curious. We have our door cutscene camera, the priority 10, third. Okay, I see what's wrong. So by default, all the cameras, all Cinemachine cameras are created with a priority of 10. So I have both the free look with 10 and the door cutscene camera with 10 as well. And let's just see, if I set it to 0 right now, I go to my player camera, I can control it. So all I need to do is just get my door cutscene camera, set it to 0, and now it should be working. Where's my enemy? There it is. Text me, game over, press any button to restart, and it restarts properly. Great. So one of our game over scenarios is being validated. It's working with the enemy attack, and now we need to do the same thing on my laser. So I'm gonna go back to my scripts. Where's my enemy navigation? So what it's doing is have a Unity event. We're gonna do the same on the laser. So I'm going to create a serialized field, private Unity event, missing the reference, on player hit. Okay. And here we have our debug log. We're going to replace with on player hit, dot invoke. Cool. Save it back to Unity. And once it reloads the scripts, I'm going to get to my laser turret, laser spawn point, and I'm going to pick here my canvas, game object, on UI controller, show game over. Let's press play, and let's see if that is working. Just pressing the wrong buttons. Okay, there you go. There's my laser. I'm gonna wait for it to start again, and I hit it and game over. Press any button to restart. It's restarting. I just forgot to disable the input here as well. So I'm gonna get my player controller, enable input to false. Let's give it another try just to make sure it works. And great, now this is working. So we have two of the scenarios validated. Now we're gonna validate the third one, which is when our player falls. So let's say I fall here and I just keep falling and the game never ends, and now I'm just stuck. So let's fix this scenario now. So to check the fall, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my level controller, game object, and I'm going to create a box collider on it. And first of all, I'm going to increase the size of the collider so it is as big as our level and then some, both on X and Z. And I'm going to set it as trigger, move it down a little bit, I don't know, -10, that's fine. And back on my level controller, I will create a on trigger enter function. Then I'm going to create a Unity event. Unity event on player fall. Oh, all caps, on player fall. And if other game object compare tag player on player fall dot invoke. Back in Unity, let's get a level controller. It didn't show it up. Oh dear, I was doing it on the laser controller and it should be on the level controller, so let's fix it up. So laser controller, remove it from here, put it on the level controller. Save it back to Unity. Wait for it to reload. And now we can set the UI controller to show game over when I trigger the unplayer fall. So let's give it a test and see if it works. I'm going to fall over here, falling, and game over. I'm still falling, but I can press the button to restart. Fantastic. I believe the last scenario is when we win the game, when we actually pick up the keys and move through the door. So let's add to this door another box collider, which is also going to be a trigger. And let's change its size. It is super big right now. I'm going to change its size. There. And a bit wider. And we can move it to the side a little bit. There. I don't want it to go beyond the door, so I don't access, even though, you know, it's going to be on a wall, but still I don't want it to. I think it's okay. Great. So on my door controller now, what I'm going to do is I'm going, first of all, save my laser controller. Going to remove the start and update from my door controller, and on trigger enter, going to do the same thing. If other game object compare tag player, I'm going to have an event here that I'm going to invoke. Serialized thing, private, Unity event on player enter, and on player enter dot invoke. Back to the scene. Let's wait for our door controller to reload. Okay. Select the door. On player enter, I'm going to add my canvas UI controller show victory, and let's see, hopefully that's gonna work. I'm gonna pick up the keys. Door is opening. Okay, now let's try to move through the door, even though we're on the back side, so let's do it properly. And if we walk through the door, you win. Press any button to restart, and we'll restart the game. So there you go. We have the game over and win conditions set in our game. So that's it for the content for these videos. We have learned a lot of stuff. I hope it was useful, and you can now use all these scripts and objects and techniques to put together your own platform level like we have in the project. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we're more than glad to help you. We can find us on our email or on our Discord server, on our website. Check us out on social media, on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. Just reach us out and we'll be more than glad to help you with any questions that you have.